All right, that was much more decisive. I feel like my destructive influence on the OPL has continued. As a mid laner, what stood out for you that game?
I think Claire, he greeted pretty hard for the ancient coin. Like it's really good on that. Like the stats are really good. But I think against like Rise, you can't. I think you can't afford to go that. Like I think Rise should have went corrupting pot as well, just so that you can trade more aggressively as well. But he didn't know that he was gonna get coin. But I would go corrupting pot in that matchup and time warp tonic so that I can play really aggressive in that counter matchup.
And so, what do Legacy do moving forward here? Because it felt like they didn't really have any answers.
I think Legacy. I think they should have played around top side like Mimic. I think he's like one of their like. I think he is their best player. I think like if he's on a carry, like he can like win them the game, like a game. But I think they tried to play around bot lane this game, like Lucian Braum. But I felt like the Lucian Braum didn't like do good because like I feel like Lucian Braum wins that matchup against Zyra Khan. But I feel like there was like no trading. Like it was just farm, and then like eventually Rakan becomes more useful than Braum.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Do you reckon that we're going for the full 3?
Yeah, I think we're going for the full 3. 2-1 Legacy.
All right. Well, settle in, everybody. I'm excited. And also settle in because we have so many suggestions for different segments and content pieces from you guys. You absolutely delivered. Now, what I thought we would start it off, some of you submitted some stuff and didn't put your name in. So now there's no way we'll ever know because Twitch chat will 100% just take credit for this stuff. And I'm sorry, Twitch chat, you know I love you, but you know, you do you. So these will be named after the unknown soldier style thing. Your name will live on forever. First suggestion, how do we feel Nick Boy hosts a League of Legends version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I give away $1 million. I am going to put that up front, that I am giving away the actual prize money.
Does Nick Boy know enough about League of Legends to make up the questions?
I would never.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
How dare you, sir? I would never make up the questions. An underling would do that. I would merely read them out.
And then the other thing is, this is coming from the guy that doesn't know what Fiddlesticks passive
Oh,
is.
I missed one. I missed one.
But I like that idea. I like the idea of giving away some serious money, serious Riot cashola. And I'm just getting hella yeses in my ear right now. That one came in from an unknown, so we'll never know who to blame when I bankrupt the company. Twatty34 says, get Bailey a goth girlfriend and have a segment with the two of them. What does that look like? What does a goth dog look like?
I don't know.
Is it a Dalmatian?
That'd be cute though.
It would be cute.
It would be cute.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Because you're not sure
I
about
like League of Legends, not dogs.
I mean,
Oh, he's not a dog guy.
I'm a dog guy, but
I
like
okay.
League of Legends.
That is the correct answer. To one right answer this real quick. It's dogs, by the way. But I think it is a Dalmatian. 100%.
I think a goth dog is definitely a Dalmatian.
Yeah.
I don't like dogs.
Oh, like what are those white shaggy? Okay, you're gross. What are those white shaggy dogs that have like the really shaggy fur? You know, but then like you just have
like the Dulux
you just
dog?
tint this bit black, so then they
Oh,
have like a
that's
black
good.
fringe.
Yeah, I like that. I like that for sure.
Yeah.
And we put some eyeliner on them. We just never tell the RSPCA. Kremtools in the chat said that was definitely my suggestion. Look, everyone is taking credit for that first one, so we'll never really know. In Search of Shoes says, show us your shoes, the fashion segment. Show us your shoes. Those are nice.
NMDs, yeah.
I mean, we kind of got basically the same shoe on. But In Search of Your Shoes wants to see our shoes.
Hang on a second. Did you just try and claim that your shoes are basically NMDs?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's a white shoe. Like, it's basically the same thing, right?
Sneakerheads everywhere have just lost their mind.
I mean, it's a white piece of material that's wrapped around my gorgeous foot. What, like,
Is it leather?
Yeah.
Then it's nothing like an NMD.
So is it better then? I don't know. Are we ranking shoes?
Oh, 100%.
I think chat's like probably ranking shoes.
I'll tell you right now. Sithcat said I came up with all the good ideas, and then someone said cringe. So there you go. Now, someone absolutely went off as well with the suggestions. Dash BB, who always complains that I never pity pick them so that they do get a skin, popped off in this segment. 3 suggestions. First of all, I love this one. We all participate in a Bob Ross-style painting of some League of Legends scenery. And I think that's a really good idea.
Are any of us artistic?
No, and that's a really good idea.
That's the best thing, right? Like I'm not going to be able to paint, but like I'll get some titanium white on my little knife.
I reckon Spawn has an artistic streak in him. He's being very quiet right now.
No comment.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Oh.
It's going to happen. The second suggestion from Dash BB. Okay, so instead of coaches and pro players on the couch with Nick, he is still the host, but instead of OPL stuff, it's the TV show Next. And for those of you who don't know, the TV show Next was an MTV show that was a dating show. And we basically just in between segs, in between games, we just run a small dating show.
That
here.
is not happening. We need every advantage we can get on the world stage. And from what my understanding of dating to high performance League of Legends is there is a big inverse correlation of those two things. So
you're
I
saying
am vetoing it right now.
you don't want me hooking up order players with girlfriends or boyfriends so that their performance just takes a dive.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, what if we just brought in randos from the street, kidnapped, some would say, and then like got them to figure out whether or not
Do
they
you
want to
agree with
hook
that
up.
analysis?
No,
by the
I
way,
don't.
Toby?
No, you
I
don't.
don't.
I
wouldn't want.
He's been very clear. He is merely here for the League of Legends. And then, so you may enjoy this one. The third suggestion from Dash BB: the guest on the couch sits behind Nick Boy while he plays a ranked game in their main role, and they coach him in real time.
I actually
Wait,
like
what
that
rank
one.
are you?
First,
What rank are you first?
So I have yet to unlock the ranking mode, but I am certainly like around about level 20 something.
All right. I think you should get Bryce or someone else
What?
to coach.
Why,
Yeah.
why me?
I agree.
He is actually, so I've laned with Nick Boy, and
Oh.
we won the game. He
We
is
did.
actually much better.
Yeah.
That he has played maybe the genre. I'm not allowed to say, but I think he is a genre.
We'll
expert.
we'll say-
He's a MOBA
Yeah.
player.
And then we've got two more. We've got Hysteric says Ryoma's fashion show. What's hip and what's not? Would you come back for that?
Probably not. Probably not.
Just a flat
All
no.
right. Oh, Hysterics, I'm so sorry. No one has been killed that hard on stream before. And then finally, this one came in from an unknown soldier. We will never know who it is, but I really like this suggestion. Rate a champion's skins from best to least best, probably on a champion with 3+ skins. I think that's great because we have very solid skin opinions within this room.
Yes, that is my favorite one.
I think that's super solid.
First of all, this person wussed out real hard going best to least best.
Yeah, like worst is
it's
the word
best
they're
to
looking
worst,
for. Yeah.
and there is a very distinct for every single champion list.
Well, most of the time, I would actually say most of them are the worst, and then there's one standout.
Yeah, but depending on the champion and depending on the skin, the worst skin is the best skin.
And I, on the other hand, appreciate all the work that the hard-working people at the Riot Skin team put in, and just think that you play your skin, guys, and
You're a shill.
everyone just
And you know what?
variety is the spice of life.
I feel
That's
like
all I'm
they-
saying. Just play them all.
I feel like they could use a little inspiration and some, direct feedback from the crowd. But I am getting word that we can do the skin thing, and apparently the producer is going to buy me an easel so that we can also do the painting seg, which I think is awesome. Plus, I want to shout out, Spawn had a suggestion as well, right before we get back to the game. Spawn had a suggestion before this segment even started. Do you want to talk us through what your idea is?
So I don't know if anyone knows what Outward Bound is, but I did it in year 10 of school. And pretty much what they do is they take a group of people and they drop them into the wilderness. So we went to the Blue Mountains, and they give you food, they give you like a tarp to sleep under, and then you just have to walk with a map and a compass for 10 days. And
That's a long time.
Yeah, it's a very long time, and I think what we should do is we should take the superstar of every team, Bryce, myself, and Nick into the wilderness, and we should do Outward Bound.
Which team, what? Superstar? Captain? Superstar?
Why not both?
Okay, so we just get, how many people are we
We're
at?
taking the
know.
whole OPL for a camping
How
trip.
many people would
How
they
big
allow
is
us to
our
take?
tarp?
Maybe it's an opt-out, but
It's
maybe
not
it's
one
not an
tarp
opt-out.
that we all have to sleep
No,
under.
so you
we don't
could-
need
no,
to share one
You take
tent.
your own. You take your own. So you have to
Oh.
carry everything.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you want to cook in a wok, you have to carry the wok.
Okay.
And woks are hard.
Yeah.
Like they're real. Trust me. That really.
How much stuff did you carry when you did it?
So generally, your backpack is about 20 kgs.
Oh, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Can I point out one more thing before we get into the next game, which I feel like we absolutely have to do? Yesterday we had a vote as to what was the defining statement from the caster desk. There was Welcome to the War Room and there was Big Play. I feel like the real winner this one is Spawn saying woks are hard. that will live on forever.
I hope so. But would you come camping with me?
No, I'm not a
just
big
say
fan
no.
of camping.
Yep, there you go.
I think Destiny or Swiper.
Yeah, both
Yes.
of those people would
Yeah.
be.
Destiny's a bit of a gorilla.
They would be very good at camping. However, we are about to get into game 2 of Legacy versus Avant Gaming. And I like this, even though I think it is a little bit of Nick trying to get rid of responsibility for his role. I like that segment, so I think we can do it. But we didn't get an answer to our segment, Bryce.
What our segment? Oh, like the ease of execution.
Have you come up with anything?
No, I was casting the game with you.
Oh, well, maybe someone should ask the chat.
We did.
We did.
Oh, right. Well, maybe maybe the chat.
Maybe
should have
someone
answered.
backstage should listen to the cast.
I was too busy stealing ideas from the chat in the first place to use in this segment.
All right,
What's
we're back
hard?
into Pick Bad. Box hard. It's going to be Zoe Swain, Spelltrox, as well as something
I
else.
thought we decided
Oh,
on
Smite Trox. Broken Trox.
Broken Trox.
Yeah, it's Broken Trox.
Yep. As Dr. Mundo is also going to hit the bench from Legacy. I'll be curious to see if Zyra Khan do get banned away, but in saying that, Red side has a much easier time picking that combination because obviously you just get to pick both, you know?
But if you take Rakan, it's really good.
Mhm.
And then they have to take Xayah, otherwise you get the combination, and Xayah by herself sucks. So you can still just take Rakan.
You can.
Trust me, that's what Order did.
You absolutely can. I mean, every single week, you know?
Or you can just take Xayah as well. Play like Grom or something. I
You
don't know.
just had a very hard opinion on Zyra by herself sucks.
I
You
think in
should
bottom
take
lane she
Rakan.
does. If you funnel, she's okay.
But also just take Zyra and pick Braum and it's fine.
Yeah.
But no, actually, we're going to have none of that because Rakan's actually going to get banned away.
See, the man with the big brain, he knows.
He absolutely does. And Kindred hits the bench as well. Interesting. Only didn't have too much impact by that first early kill there. Once it got to the mid-game, it was pretty rough for the Kindred. Kept some people alive for a little bit longer to then die, as the CC was just constant there for AV, but they do respect it and ban it away game number 2.
And sometimes you just want to force a tank versus tank matchup. So if his carry jungler on this particular patch is a Kindred, you can really change how they're going to play around that by just banning that one champion and saying either you have to play like a Nidalee or a Graves, or you're going back to tank versus tank.
That might just be potentially what they want, as the Trundle will get locked in, and there are a lot of junglers up and available. Nocturne still up, Talia, things like that. The Lucian first pick. Obviously, a lot of teams are doing this one. Braum could just be the answer, but
Are we
Ezreal.
playing on the same patch?
I don't know. Because that's an Ezreal.
That's a very early Ezreal. That is
is-
a priority Ezreal.
Yeah, priority Ezreal is not
Like they
something
could
I've
take
heard of in a long
Braum
time.
there because Ezreal Braum is a very good lane.
Yep.
And I can nearly guarantee that Avant are going to pick Braum here, and I can, along the same vein, almost guarantee that they would not have picked away the Ezreal in that slot.
And what do you take with the Ezreal? Like Tahm Kench?
Tarek?
Tarek? That sounds like a super rough matchup. Lucian Braum as Tarek.
Well, what is a good matchup? Like, you just killed the Tahm Kench in the Lucian Tahm Kench.
Also, they just took the Morgana, because that's like a defensive option. You could play that and just play for the poke. You could play for the
They're
sustain.
playing funnel.
You can go like,
They're playing funnel.
go Zyra.
They got 2 smites, Bryce. It's happening again.
Frayless has done it.
They're
Frey's got the smite.
0-1 in the funnel.
They are. They were the first team in the OPL to bust it out against the Bombers.
Tectonic.
Tectonic.
Tectonic are 2-0 versus
Yes.
funnel. They are the anti-funnel team.
That is true. And the game was not successful for AV, but Funnel has come a long way. AV have come a long way since that point. And we're going to see round number 2 here.
See, I like this because Mimic and Only will be able to attack top lane. Pillar into Poppy Wallbang
Yep.
is a lot of damage early
It's also
game.
super fun.
Yeah.
And satisfying when you pull it off.
Very easy to do. So I think that whoever the top... It is. Like,
I thought you were going to say, like, great, like ease of X to do.
yeah, no. Very easy to do. But I can, now
You
Pabu has to pick... I don't know. Gangplank Darius, Talon. You really
ruined your train of thought there.
Yeah,
Sorry, mate.
we have a saying in our friendship group that unfortunately I can't really say on this, but you really mucked me up there, Bryce.
Okay. 13 seconds left on AV to come through with their second ban, as you mentioned. Blind pick the Poppy once again, just ban away the Gangplank, ban away the Darius. It is the opposite side of the coin. We saw AV doing that game number 1, but Legacy going for exactly the same strategy here.
And now they must know that some form of funnel is up because they've just banned away 2 mid laners that have incredibly good shove. Especially Tiamat plus Smite Talon. He clears out the wave beautifully. You know, Talia also does a very good job of that. Alistair going to be the lock-in.
That
I feel like he should die. Maybe I'm wrong.
You have to get in early. You have to, like, level 3, level 2, actually get damage down onto the Lucian Braum and set them back a bit. Because if you just get to level 3 completely unscathed, sure, if Ali combos your Lucian, that sounds like a good thing. But if Braum doesn't get hit in a combo, then...
They're not playing that.
Oh, well, yes.
They're playing Morgana something bottom lane. They're playing Lucian Braum funnel.
You're absolutely right.
Keep
It's
up.
actually Caitlin Morgana.
I thought we talked about the
This
funnel.
draft is a disaster. Pabu might just be going back to an old favorite.
I like Pabu's Malphite. He's one of the few people that still plays Malphite, and he
looks
plays it
happy
very
about it.
well.
He looks very happy about it, but
Ah,
does he go back for the Ornn? We saw the Ornn versus Poppy matchup. It's interesting that he goes into that from this point, right? Like Poppy blind picked and he picks Ornn into it. Because Poppy, you saw Pabu do it last game, just cancels out the dash on the ultimate, can just knock him away because he has to stand there in the line of the ramp.
whereas Malphite just flash ultis and nothing stops him. He's unstoppable. However, I like the fact that they're just playing a tank that needs no items. Like Malphite, on whatever you wanted it to be, as long as they have some items, like some levels, they're going to be fine. They don't need items to be successful. And the Echo is locked in. See whether he takes Smite on this.
So this is going to be a funnel against a Smite mid laner. Level 1 for AV is something I'm scared about for Legacy, right? Like you have Braum passive, you have Morgana bind. If you can disrupt the Wraith camp on a Smite mid laner like the Echo, he just wants to clear that one, go start lane at level 2, then that becomes very rough, especially against a funnel composition like the Lucian and Braum. They'll have the Ignite there to be able to pressure him out, so that could be super rough.
Mimic have to help Claire? Because I don't know whether Claire can... So the reason Echo Jungle is very quick once he gets the AP item is because of the W passive. Is that the 3-hit passive? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yep.
The execute on it. Whereas I think Echo Jungle level 1 isn't that great, to be honest.
Because the good thing about like Echo against a funnel is that he has non-committal wave clear, right?
Yeah.
Like he can just throw out the Q, accelerated convergence, something. No, that's the W. That's a
Time Winder.
disaster. I don't. Who cares?
It is.
But
Time
the
Winder.
Q, he throws that one out.
It's time one. Why won't you just call it time one?
It's time one.
Okay.
There we go. It's also the Q. And I can clear out the wave and can just walk away and do it from a distance, and it's hard to get engaged upon. But if you step behind early, that can become very rough.
And Morgana Caitlyn is obnoxious.
Yep.
Especially when Alistar has a very linear way of getting in and no way of getting out once he gets there. So I'm standing next to a person that's nodding his head. I think he agrees me in that way. It's going to be Charlie Wraith, coach of Avant Gaming. Nice draft. I actually really like this one.
Thank you. Means a lot.
So, obviously very clean game number 1, 27-minute win. However, the last time you guys played in the OPL was an 0-2 versus Bombers into a long break.
Yep.
When you go 0-2, a break that long can either really pull you up or be quite difficult. How did Avant tackle that break?
Yeah, look, we had a bit of a crisis meeting, to be honest. Like, after we lost that to the Bombers, very unexpected. We are aiming much higher than that loss indicated. We decided to change a lot of things, both in how we draft, how we practice, how we, like, just discuss things. And I think our practice over this last week and a half has been our best practice since I've joined the team.
Is that 3 crisis meetings we've heard about? Like, obviously not called crisis meetings, but Order said they did something very similar when they lost to Tectonic. Obviously, Chiefs said that they had a meeting after they lost to Tectonic. Tectonic seemed to be the makers of a lot of these meetings.
Yep.
And now you guys have as well. That's very interesting, as we actually see over the wall they go. Very cute, and they get the flash out of Mimic. Oh, that's a little bit of a pre-planned cheese there. You got a question?
Yes, and I wanted to ask about like sort of drafting style. And like coming into this game, just game number 1, completely different AV. Obviously, you talked about the drafting style. Are you worried that such like a big shake-up in the middle of the season, like getting it reliable, getting the practice there, anything about that? Or is it just something that had to be done?
I think it had to be done, honestly. I think if we kept on the same trajectory, we would have got too complacent. I think just shaking things up, just like it refreshes us and it gives more direction.
All right.
I also think it gives us more time to like learn a new strategy like this funnel. Like we were the first ones to do this in the OPL. We just spent a lot more time refining it, and we think we're really good at it now.
All right, cool. We'll see whether that does come to fruition. Now, talk to me a little bit about, Morgana Caitlyn, a lane that in Split 1 was bullying hard. Now with the changes, does it take longer to come online? Like, how do you guys view kind of this AD carry meta? Because obviously you guys have played back-to-back crit AD games now.
Yeah. Well, Caitlyn's really strong in the laning phase, but she has a bit of a weak mid-game. You can somewhat mitigate that by going Storm Razor into Rapid Fire Cannon. She's still going to bully this lane. Like, they picked a melee support, so we're going to chip the tower. We picked a weak side top laner, so we're going to be definitely putting all of our attention to the bottom side this game, and that's basically the function that Caitlyn serves.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Very insightful interview. Of course, Charlie Wraith of Avant Gaming there.
Thank you.
And we saw some super interesting stuff at level 1 whilst that happened. We've seen Lucian's in the bottom lane actually starting E more often, but talk about Braum can get over the wall with the W, so both of them go over. Look for a pick-off, try and get something happening early to disrupt Claire's Wraith camp, things like that. Of course, did get it, so started the lane level 2 in this 1v2 we talked about. He can shove it in pretty effectively for the most part, but Lucian Braum still very strong.
Certainly is, especially with blue buff. As actually Claire going to go towards a Raptor camp here and try and clear this one out. Has the smite coming back available. Another cheeky Q would have done it, but not able to get it done there.
Has to walk away, AV. Opting back towards the middle lane. This might just be a 2v2 here. Claire's looking.
Certainly could be, and that's going to be the stun landing, and that is Frey getting eaten. First blood picked up.
And that is absolutely disastrous. Funnel comps are all about efficiency. They want to shove this one in, do a couple of camps, come back and collect the wave. If your funnel falls behind, that is an absolute disaster. And Legacy with a very nice play. This is a Trundle jungle and an Echo. You don't really think about their early all-in, but stun lands onto Frey. He dies and they get the pick up very early.
And look at where the Alistar and the Ezreal are. You know, they said that they had a lot of priority, so this was going to help, but they're underneath the turret. And only due to that was able to duck in and get a lot done. Prayliss now standing in the middle of everyone. Will get one tag. Jake rotating up, does have the Dark Binding, but the flash is going to be there. Decoy also had to burn the flash. Now they're do-si-doing around. 1 tap, 2 tap. Where's the 3 tap? He does finally get stunned, and this should be Decoy falling down. Jake takes the kill.
That was such a weird flash. He was in the Dragon Pit and flashed over the wall aggressively.
Was he really?
Yes. I think so. Very big miscommunication from Legacy if that's the case. He wanted to go aggressive, but Claire had no W. The Trundle was trying to live on the back end, and he was looking for the re-engage. They had priority. I think it's a construct of Darkseid and Jake very early going up the river looking for the Scuttle Crab, trying to take that one away. So they found themselves with like this pocket of control, and Legacy, whilst they do take down the Lucian, unfortunately, drop a kill back.
And you can see Claire right now is just putting the camps on hard farm. That smite item is picked up by Frey. He's going to have to burn the flash here, most likely. Get slow, does have to flash. Convergence is there, however, no way for him to get in it. Now tagged up, no slow available.
And Legacy are doing such a good job at attacking the funnel. Normally it's about contesting them when they go towards the camps, picking them off, but they're just going straight towards the mid lane. This is a level 4 Lucian versus Claire at level 6. And only wants a piece of this Scuttle Crab.
No way AV can take Scuttle Crab right now. You can see that they've just been bullied off their game plan. So far behind in experience right now, Bryce. Level 4 to level 6, as you mentioned.
Not to mention, Claire is just straight up in CS. He has the Talisman, so he can clear the camps very easily. Obviously, has the Smite picking that one up, but he's basically even with the Lucian, and AV just have 2 supports, whereas Legacy only have 1 of the jungler. They're just farming more. This bottom lane is starting to get to a point now where Ezreal doesn't have any more potions. He is getting chunked away. You heard Charlie talk about the fact that you just want to chip this bot side. They do have that form of control, but in terms of the funnel, looking pretty rough.
And with Blade into shield, if you ever have free access to the wave, as Darkseid has, you actually out-sustain. So even though Darkseid just took some good damage there from Raid not going to be able to heal up as much. Given the fact that he just can't free auto attack.
Saving grace for Legacy is that he does actually have the TP, so at a certain point will have enough to, well, already does have enough to go back by his tier and TP back.
But tier versus BF sword is not a fun time, and I feel like he's overstayed tier by a significant portion.
Yep. And that's interesting. We don't talk about that much anymore. Like this meta, you don't see AD carry into Ezreal in the bottom lane, so you don't really see these power spikes. But coming back into this game, the unique drafting from both sides means that we find ourselves in this sort of situation. Prayliss, very nice block of the time winder there, so Claire can't clear out the wave just as quick. Just going to wait for the second one. But still in a very strong position, highest level on the map as the Echo against this funnel comp from AV.
Yeah, by a mile as well. He's halfway through level 7. So doing a very nice job. You see Jake cheating over to the Raptor camp, trying to stop Claire from taking them, pull them back for his funneler.
It's very hard for Jake to actually get onto Echo there, because as soon as he aggroes the creeps, gets in the way of your bind, nothing you can really do, and Echo a very mobile champion.
So what he was doing there is he was being closer to the camp than Claire was, so the camp chased him as opposed to going towards Claire, because he didn't want Claire to get a second Q out and take all the little ones. So that's actually just like a little bit of smart play coming out of Jake.
Got the smarts, and he walks back towards the bottom lane. And it's interesting that Legacy have set up this pink ward at the bottom side of the map, constantly floating in to try and take away the Wraith camp, almost like the most important camp on the map, and one of the easiest for Claire on the Echo to clear out. You've seen him multiple times float down there, so where they invest vision and vision denial bot side, It also, not to mention, means that every time Claire leaves the mid lane, the bottom lane from AV have to play respectful. You don't know if he's going to counter jungle, go to a Scuttle Crab, or walk all the way down the river.
Yep.
So the Ali Ezreal find themselves in a better position than they would be in the straight 2 versus 2.
See that only starts up an Ocean Drake. This is going to help out the bottom lane a ton at this stage. See, they know what's going on, but it is going to be uncontested.
And that's just the product of having an actual jungler. Prayless on the Braum can do nothing by himself. He just floats around with Illusion, so every time Frey has to go towards the mid lane, he's tied down there and only has the freedom. And the fact that Claire is standing up toe-to-toe in the 2 versus 1. Top lane, though.
Ultimate is burnt just to clear out the wave.
You don't see that very often. On also used as a wave clear tool, but hits everything, does a whole bunch of damage, and just wants to get himself a recall. The TPs were burnt by both top laners pretty early to go back to base and then TP back to lane, so he wanted to clear out the wave and have time to walk without losing too many creeps.
See, bottom lane just turning into a farm fest, but with the wave much more neutral than I would have expected due to that minion dematerializer. Only one left, however.
Yeah, the fact that AV aren't underneath the turret is so good for Legacy. We talked about BF to tier. That is the current situation. He has a pickaxe, so it's not all that bad, but the turret is at about half HP for Legacy, and the fact that they can keep the wave off that mark is a pretty big deal. AV are going to have to make some things happen, because if this slow sort of game plan just continues, then you have a Trundle that's getting exponentially further ahead than the Braum, and Claire keeping up very well with Illusion means that our Legacy just farming more points. They have an 800 gold lead despite kills being even.
In saying that, they do have double 80 carry with Morgana. And I would say that even though Legacy have some tools to get on them, if Decoy's engages aren't on point this game, then Lucian Caitlyn will outlast the damage that is going to come out of any melee assassin.
And that's the thing, if it goes late enough, you have a crit 80 carry that scales very well. We talked about the bit of a lull in the mid game, but hold that thought only. Nope, just hits him with a pillar. And you, as Jake, can just pick someone and they will live.
Yeah.
And you can just pick Darkseid, give him a black shield, and Decoy can't do anything about it. If Claire isn't actually going in
Meanwhile,
and breaking the
Prayless
shield,
has been caught out, and there's going to
Pillar.
be only there as well. Flashes onto him, has to use the ultimate as well to get away. Goes golden, however, no passives applied, and Claire going to ult out as well. However, flash forward out of Jake, 2-man stun. Decoy has to use the ultimate early, and this could be disastrous. This could be Darkseid actually grabbing multiple kills, will flash forward. One more auto would have done it with the ultimate, however, will not be the case now. Do they block it? Yes, they do.
Decoy with the reverse flash this time, goes back over the Dragon Wall, and I'm so interested that Ray did not rotate with the Alistar, sitting farming the bottom lane the entire time. They would have had that numbers advantage. They used everything to pick on the Braum. Prayless goes down early, but the fact that AV have their entire bottom lane rotating means that Legacy lose the trade back.
Oh, Mimic really trading well nicely top lane. Pabu in a lot of trouble here. He's nearly in dive territory, especially given the fact that Mimic has the ultimate. He's going to have to back away, and he's going to give a free charge to the minion wave. No, not going to be there.
Mimic looking for it, plays it pretty tentative as the funnel rotates towards the top side of the map. Only is around, has the smite. Secures himself a Scuttle Crab, and it's pretty nice for the Trundle.
Every time that happens, it sets them back further. Prayless here again.
And we see the start of this play. Raid is actually considering a rotate, and at this point he turns around. Throws out the ulti. Stopwatch means that Prayless buys a lot of time. Flare does very well to trade so much damage onto Frey, but at this point, Decoy, Angry Fist, the Black Shield doesn't do anything against the Morgana, only doesn't have Flash, so there's nowhere he can go. If Raid is here, there's no way Jake and Darkseid can continue the chase and pick up these kills, but the fact that he's not means they get the opportunity to.
It's going to be Rift Herald picked up right now for Legacy, so good control of objectives this time around. Dragon first time, now Rift Herald this time.
King's Tribute. Bloody OP. Ah, is he going to pick it up? Oh, that was almost, a bit of a yikes there.
Certainly was. Meanwhile, mid lane, you can see Legacy's Claire still doing a very good job, and they actually popped the Herald immediately, rotating all 5 members here, Brian.
Going to be all 5 members of Legacy looking for a collapse. Mimic is on vision, so AV know a little bit what's going on. Charge might just be enough, but they might just look for the dive.
Nah, but once again, ulti out of Jake. No flash available this time. Culling going to be used. Claire still in the middle of everyone, and that will be the Ornhorn sounded. Ultimate will come out of Claire, so we'll get him back out of danger.
And they get a charge onto the inner turret as well, so they break down that turret. That's first brick going over to Legacy. Gold lead extending to just under 2,000 here. And they might be looking for more.
Yeah, potentially going to be the case. They all dash away from that parallel convergence, but a great ultimate coming across. Jake will fall down to Raid, however, on the other side of the fight. That's a 2 for nothing.
And once this time, it's actually Darkseid that's not at the play. TP from Raid gets himself to defend the outer turret in the bottom lane, and AV just have no answer.
And Claire is huge, 2-0-1. Really putting on the carry pants this game. On the Echo, level 10, nearly level 11. Going to grab another cheeky blue buff.
Steal that one away. Pretty rough here. Raid trying to bait Darkseid in. He doesn't actually have vision of the bush, but might have just scouted out a cheeky cow. So he does just walk away from the plays. It will be a 2v1 for the time being. Jake, flashless, igniteless, walking down to the bottom lane.
Top lane turret now going to come under fire. With only up there, potential to take that. We'll just walk through the turret.
Does not care about absolutely anything. Pabu will show fairly soon, so they don't stick around here. And there's been a lot of action.
Certainly
For a
has.
funnel composition, this is what you want to see against a funnel, right? Like Legacy have answered with the Smite mid laner. This is the first one we've seen this week. There's a lot of talk of the Aatrox, but has been banned every single game. Talon has had a few hobbers and a few bans here and there, but Claire on the Echo is the first one we've actually seen make it into game.
And the big question for me is there's a reason Echo isn't being played. And it's that he's very difficult to execute late game. So is Claire in the moment strong enough to split push, you know, team fight, all the things that Echo needs to be able to do successfully? Or is eventually this double 80 Kyro comp going to come online? Because at this current stage, the answer is yes.
Yes.
He will destroy either of them. But as this game progresses, as they get towards Black Cleaver, you know, maybe more of Malmortius for Frey, and then, you know, just Rapid Fire Cannon Infinity Edge and 700 range on Caitlyn, this becomes a difficult game to make work. As right now, top side of the map, Pablo in big trouble, gets ulted up. Dash will not knock up Mimic, and now he just has to put on the fridge juice and still cannot run away. Braum trying to come up here, so Mimic will respect it.
Mimic doesn't chase, but to answer your question, like, I agree. Absolutely, he is 100% strong enough now to take over this game. And in League of Legends, the stronger you are, the easier it is to gain more of a lead and build on that. So it's on Legacy to make a fumble. If they set up around a Baron loser team fight and Claire all of a sudden ahead of the curve gets knocked back a peg or two, then it might just become a problem, especially against Morgana with a crit 80 carry. They have double frontline, things like that. So at this stage, yes. And if the trajectory of this game continues for Legacy, they've got themselves Ocean Drake. They're picking up turrets here and there. They're slowly extending their gold lead. As long as they maintain that without a big fumble, I think Claire will be absolutely fine.
Those two turrets, so crucial, as now Darkseid might have to burn the flash. No, just 90 caliber net away. That will be a very nice bind in turret. Well, they will take him down again. Now the ultimate onto Decoy. He's going to have to burn his ultimate as well, I think. In fact, he does, but he still just might go down. So late with that ultimate, so late with that flash, and now Ray takes a big chunk of damage.
And that was Legacy with a heavy misplay. 3 versus 2 get outplayed underneath the turret. AV pick up 2 kills on the back end.
And Binding lands, and they will be able to get the trap down. That is a 3-kill turnaround for Darkseid.
And just as we talk about the fumble, that might have been it. 3 members all dead. That's a huge amount of gold. The Darkseid crit 80 carry. He's in the lull right now. He wants to get his rapid fire, wants to work towards the Infinity Edge. Just got so much gold on the back end of that fight.
And Claire just had to burn the ultimate as well. It's just that game has just been turned on its head. That's 2,000 gold they just made up without taking any turrets.
That's just a disaster for Legacy. And it wasn't Claire that made the fumble. Sure, he had to use his ulti contesting the Raptors, things like that, but it's the bottom lane of Legacy that overcommit for the dive, only walks into turret range, gets bound up. Decoy tries to save him, and once you go in as an Alistar, the Mobies, they're gone. Ulti's very late, uses the flash anyway, so try to use everything he had to live, and everyone just dies.
Confusing play. Nearly Blade of the Ruined King picked up for the Lucian. Nearly going to be towards that rapid fire cannon for the Caitlyn.
Oh, Raid is a
Got himself a skill-up pot.
very lucky man.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a skill-up potion. So level 10 can have access to the ultimate. I don't think he's realized he's got it because he's just sitting on it right now.
We have a look. They've swapped the lanes around for now. It's going to be Darkseid without any vision, really, walking towards the top lane, so he has to back away.
Binding does land onto Trundle. They do just walk away. Trying to buy time for Pabu on the other side of the map. Legacy don't want Raid into Pabu. down there. Like, he's not going to be able to push out the wave
Yeah.
quickly enough. The Ornn is an absolute fridge, has the armor to withstand a hit or two from the Ezreal, and we'll just be able to shove that wave out and be much more useful rotating towards a fight.
And the question is who wins the fight right now? Because you can see people rotating around, and it looks like both teams are unsure, because otherwise Claire would be looking for that play again. He has the ult back available, but he kind of was like, I'm just going to go top lane. And actually, they're in behind him right now with 3 members.
And he
Braun
uses
could be
the
up there
dash.
as well. Uses the dash. They're trying to cut him off. If he goes for the ultimate, it is going to be big damage. Also uses the stun. They cannot get him back in there. They can just ulti, but they don't go for it. Instead, he goes on to Darkside, tries to go for the one-shot, but will be shut down. And now Mimic is there as well. Culling fully to the face, channeled only into the back line. Once again, flashes onto the AD carries, but they can't get it done. Finally, he will fall, but now it is going to be the Ornn into the back lane. 2-man knock-off, and once again, AV has turned this game on its head. Triple kill for the AD carry. Why not make that a quadra? But Jake will take it, and AV back in the lead.
Legacy once again overcommit to a failure of a play. Claire gets flanked by multiple people. Didn't have an opportunity to use his ultimate. Their CC chain from AV just too strong, and everyone collapses. They don't just take the one pick. Claire wants to go back in, but because of the binding, has to spend so much time juking around. And the CC just lands. Braun passive. The knockup would have come through just after that. At this point, at Legacy, you just have to sack it. The Ornn flank is in there. Raid eaves over the wall, and he has the flash. He can go in, but he doesn't want to go over the wall. He knows the player's failed at this point. Mimic and Decoy just stuck in the front line, nowhere to walk, and that's another 4 kills going over this time to the Lucian. Jake picks up the last one, but both AD carries just get incredibly fed from AV.
And this was once again Raid without completed a Trinity Force, no transformation. He does not want to fight. Claire is now going a weird hybrid item build, going to pick up an Iceborne Gauntlet, I believe. He's not going to do enough damage. I think this game's in dire straits.
I feel like Legacy may have 1 or 2 more fights left in them. They're setting up around the Baron so far, but that's 2 items completed for the Caitlyn now. Wants to work towards that Infinity Edge, Bork, and half of Black Cleaver for Frey, so Baron control. Got to become the name of the game. No TPs for either top lane, and I feel like that probably favors Pabu in this respect. Has the double AD carries in terms of just walking towards a fight. He has a longer range of just being useful in a fight. The Ornn is just so big, whereas Mimic on the Poppy wants to be able to flank, wants to hit someone into a wall at a moment's notice.
Not to mention, with Telegraph flanks, he has the Morgana.
Yep.
So his ultimate, unless he gets interrupted by Mimic, will guarantee go through. Even if Mimic gets on the backline with a flash wallbang or something like that, there is still just the Morgana that can click one button, point and click, and if Jake has a reaction time, will be able to ruin that play.
Not to mention they have double dash AD carry. Yep. They have Morgana that actually rush Shirelias. It's not like a Zeke's, it's not an Ardent Sensor, something like that. He's gone for the move speed. So this is a very mobile team that Claire...
And Claire again has been caught out. That's no ultimates, that's just a Dark Binding. And now he has to back away.
And Jake has been so accurate with these bindings, time and again landing them. The combination with the Caitlyn, it's so easy to set up. The binding lands, you see Darkside immediately dashes forward.
Ornn's going to be called. They're in behind them. They will get the knock. No, great pillar out of Only. Stops that one.
Very nice to cancel that one out. Jake fishes for the binding once more. Predicts the juke there.
Yeah, it does land it, and he dodges out. Blue suede shoes for Jake today.
He's feeling good. He's not juking. He's dodging.
Thank you.
Binding. Oh, just barely misses that one. It is going to be an Air Drake to spawn. So we've gone from Infernal Earth to Double Ocean and an Air Drake.
Yeah, sometimes the game's just not on your side. Today it's not on Legacy's side.
So they actually maintain some control. There's very deep wards in Legacy's topside jungle. Claire taking away the red buff for himself that they have not been cleared out, and they are pink, so they'll survive forever.
And Bryce, this is the thing that I've been saying for a long time. People are telling me 80 carries cannot be played. This is a game where you don't have a jungler. Therefore, you have no pressure. You're playing against a jungler into an Alistar. And they still made the 80 carry work. Maybe I need to change my slogan from Aatrox isn't that bad, because that's obviously wrong.
Carries.
Aatrox is disgusting. To 80 carries aren't that bad.
Is that your thing? You're just going to move not that bad to like the next...
I'm going to ambassador for underrepresented opinions in League of Legends.
You're a man of the people, Jake.
I have a new campaign. It's called #NotThatBad.
I like it. I like it. I reckon Darkside probably agrees right now. Double crit 80 carries, but Claire wanting to look for something. Gonna cop a winner's bite to the face, so he's incredibly slow, actually.
Takes a couple of auto attacks as well, but
Mimic
Mimic
with
is
the
now
flank.
behind them. That gets ulted immediately. That is beautiful out of Praelis. We'll get rid of Jake, but the damage is already done, and Mimic goes so low. Great headbutt pulverize, and now Darkseid is in some trouble, but the second AD carry is here. They forgot about Frey, and all of a sudden he's tearing up the team fight. Jake goes forward, gets Claire, he will go down, and Avant Gaming win that team fight.
And AV on a micro level are playing so incredibly well. Buffers the knock-up from Praelis, the flash, perfect timing at a Darkseid, and they want more.
They certainly do, going for this turret. Raid is trying to defend it, but there is just nothing he can do. Praelis going very low, actually. They need to be careful here. That binding does go wide. Frey still playing on the edge.
Frey staunching very far up. Mimic does have TP if he wants to go for a play, but...
Oh, the binding lands again. No, they don't go for the play. Only is full HP, so they will respect it. They will back away.
But once again, that was a Legacy proactive maneuver they're looking for. Maybe they just want the Baron.
Yeah, certainly could go for it because Parbu hasn't recalled. Praelis hasn't recalled. Frey hasn't recalled, and they do it okay.
Ezreal ulti was blind, but looking to cancel some recalls. They have the W from Ezreal, attack speed onto multiple members. Blue Orb does spot this one out, so
That's
Legacy...
9,000 health, and already Parbu is teleporting here. That's a wasted opportunity. Very nicely scouted, however.
So AV buy themselves some more time. Frey working on his blue buff. It's not going to get stolen away this time, as he wants to recall. Probably has enough gold for his cleaver.
He's huge.
Skirmishes, Vork, Cleaver, half of an Infinity Edge on the Caitlyn. And Air Drake is the prize that Legacy win.
And the game not getting any easier. As these 80 carries, because of the true damage, because of how their kits work, they exponentially scale. One item, they do some damage. Two, you know, goes to 2.5 times that. As you start getting towards 3, 4, they're just ripping you apart. And they've got 2 of them.
Especially when your tanks are behind. This is a 0-2 Poppy. It's a 1-3 Trundle as well, so AV going to break this turret down very easily. Parbu, he wants to fight now. You know exactly what AV want to do. He's got himself an Iron Elixir. Middle of the game. Normally you see that, like at the end of the game, you're approaching max build and you don't have item slots. He doesn't have item slots, but he wants to fight now. It's a very early investment. 500 gold that he just bought a pot.
You can see Legacy, they know they're running out of time. They must continue to fight. I just don't know what a winning fight looks like for them anymore. It only goes forward. However, Ornhorn gets called in one more time. And big damage, and it's across 3 members. Great ulti again. And Darkseid will just continue to chip away. Mimic gets the ulti onto 2 members, but they're still not winning the team fight. Decoy cannot get away. Jake's still looking for it, and the fight will subside.
And you can see what Legacy want. Decoy flashes onto Darkseid. They need to kill the Caitlyn, but so much CC just dissuading the carries, dissuading Raid and Claire from dealing anything. Decoy goes in with absolutely no follow-up. He dies for free. AV now in a 4 versus 5. Parbu doesn't have TP, and he goes bot, so...
But they don't want to fight. They just want to continue to fire up. You can see every single time they win a fight, they walk to side lanes, they push them back out. Every time Legacy win a fight, is it Baron, is it Dragon? What can we take off the map? Because we need a win now. AV are not in a hurry.
Just shoving out the lanes, waiting for their cooldowns is... That was a big expenditure by Decoy. The fact that their main engage tool is the Alistar, he flashed onto a single target and there was absolutely no follow-up. That's 5 minutes off the map where Darkseid's unlucky, right? His ability to live in a fight is exponentially easier here. He doesn't have to flash and knock up things like that. That was a tough Wraith camp. That was a dash into the wall.
And Praelis is laughing as well.
That's so spray. That's just unlucky. You know, it happens.
Bummer.
It sucks. It's probably not the end of the world, but you definitely don't want to see that one as an AV fan.
If we can check in with the items, please, Mr. Spectator. Gold, sorry. That would be great. 2,200. My Infinity Edge maths is not current, but Darkseid is close. I think that's the tipping point. I think if he gets Infinity Edge and Jake gets Ardent, which he is clearly going for next, this game, you put it in the bag.
Incredibly difficult. Binding does land.
Spell Shield out early, but still big damage coming across. You can see one headshot there.
Q barely just goes wide, so Raid does not get any form of answer on the back end of that one. And Legacy still posturing around the Baron. AV have that uncontestable vision of the Scuttle Crab, so Legacy can clear out the wards, but AV are always going to know who walks into the pit.
And again, this time it's going to be Mimic trying to start it up. We'll get onto Pabu, and Claire tries to fly onto the back line. Pabu will just burn the flash early.
But nice pick off. They get a big cooldown from the Ornn. Claire goes for the 4 members of AV, tries to force them away as Ray just chases down into the Ornn, dealing a little bit of damage, forces the flash over the wall. Legacy have the inside track to Baron.
Challenging the Baron again, but this Caitlyn has just gone back, and she has just picked up Infinity Edge, has teleport to get back to the fight earlier.
And you said it, this might have just been the tipping point. Darkseid riding his gun into battle here. Raid sort of posturing, but you can see Legacy don't want to start up the Baron. There's no way they actually get into the pit and take this one down before AV realize, so they're constantly looking for these picks, but their main engage tool, Alistar, has no flash. It has to be a pillar into Claire maybe landing a stun.
So Claire can jump into his parallel convergence and then use his Zhonya's, and it still stuns people. His clone in that time does catch up to him.
Yep.
And therefore he can immediately ulti for some good damage if they execute on it well. But that would have to be a godlike pillar into a parallel convergence.
And that's a Caitlyn with a dash, a Lucian with a dash, and if worse comes to worse, they still have a Morgana shield that will stop all of that from happening. So lots of things have to go Legacy's way so far. And to talk about what happened in this game, Claire was so strong early game. Legacy did so well to attack the funnel. Charlie Wraith in the interview was so confident in AV's ability to pull this one off, and it fell down very early, but the tide has turned, and a few kills onto the AD carries. All of a sudden, AV, sure they don't have map control, but they're incredibly strong right now.
Darkseid, however, gets chunked out, doesn't have the teleport available. So you're going to try and heal off up some camps, but that is just going to be the Baron and the teleport committed here.
And Legacy commit everything. They know Darkseid is half HP. This might be the best opportunity they get. 10,000 health on the Baron buff. Can they land the stun?
But they're corralling them in. Claire now uses some abilities and cannot get out. Very nice flash, and that is onto the Lucian. He goes golden, and a 5-man knockup from Pabu. Already Claire's out of the fight, and it is an absolute wash. Avant Gaming right now, a cleaning house. One member will fall down, but a triple kill for Darkseid, and that should be Baron.
And the AD carries were just absolutely untouched in the river. Claire is going to have to do so much work if he's to defend this one. Jake, running goalie right now between the Echo and the Baron pit. They have a pure tank, they have an AD carry, they can two-man this if they want to.
And you can see Claire, he's given up on the play. He is scooted out over the walls. Jake is actually going to find him here. Does a bind and kill him. Will not do the damage. He hasn't got Ignite either, so he can only just annoy him at this stage.
But Jake doesn't need to kill him. He just needs to keep him around for long enough for his teammates to collapse and staggered. Oh, actually, he falls down.
The shutdown might get a second one here. This might be the game turning back.
Oh.
Can he get a third? All of a sudden, Claire is looking to do it again. Finally, we'll just run into Frey. No, he's zooming around in circles, looking for something here. If that hits Pabu, can potentially go for it, but now Darkseid coming out of the base as well will go over the wall and will get shut down.
And honestly, 2 kills, super worth for Claire there. Staggered recalls at this point of the game for Legacy is a disaster, but the fact that he picked up 2 members mean there's a big portion of time that AV gonna have to reset. They lose 2 Baron buffs that they really shouldn't have lost. Makes pushing significantly harder here. Legacy gonna take themselves a consolation air Drake. But that team fight was rough. That was a huge knock-up by Pabu. We're going to see what happens again. Just corralled into the pit. There's so many skill shots. Binding goes into the pit. Culling used onto multiple members. Mimic finds a window. Very nice flash wallbang, but that is a huge knock-up. Darkseid hitting absolutely everyone. Claire stuck in the pit as both AD carries just completely untouched until the Caitlyn goes forwards. If Ray had flash here, he'd probably just flash over the wall instead of using on the Raid camp. Could have used it on an Echo and would have been in a much better situation, but AV still 4,000 gold lead, wanting to push further.
Yeah, Raid gets forced out, is so low right now, trying to use... He actually has no lifesteal in his kit, so I was going to say trying to use the wave to heal back up, but that's not the case.
That's top lane. Got to be under siege. AV, with this composition, they have a big beefy front line. They have 2 supports. They don't care about the split push. They just want all 5 members front-to-back team fight is the way they want to engage. Decoy's flash is up now. The channel of the ulti, very smart by Mimic, goes on 1/3 of its cooldown here.
However, they're just going to break over the base. Instantly, you can see how much damage they do to that. Claire will try and walk forward, but a root there for Only, and all of a sudden, Mimic actually stops it again, Only. Very nicely done.
But the timing was so incredibly close there. Raid used his E to go forwards and only steps on a trap. It was so close to AV being able to look for the engage. They pulled the on-horn. Mimic does well to save it, but how much time does it buy them?
Yeah, and you can see the damage coming out. Dark Binding lands. They get the Zhonyas already. Ultimate will have to come out immediately, but he just dies beforehand. On the back line, he's decoy, but the root lands again onto the Poppy. Culling will be channeled into him, and Avant Gaming right now are looking down the barrel of the 2-0. There is nothing Legacy can do.
And do they actually continue? Base comes out of Pabu. They're trying to defend the Ornn. He has a TP. He's an incredibly tanky member. Raid. Sure, he has 3 items, but versus everyone from AV
Dash
stands
forward,
no
flash
chance.
forward. Frey takes him off the map, and they just stare down the barrel of the Nexus turrets. Nexus turret number 1 will fall. 20 seconds on anyone being able to contest this. That's the second one. And after a horrendous loss to the Bombers, Avant bounce back and take down Legacy.
Completely unexpected turn of events here. The game, early game, heavily going in Legacy's favor, but one mistake, we talked about it, turns it all around. Darkseid and Jake, this series, Xayah Rakan, Morgana Caitlyn, complete turnaround from everything we've seen early on in the split.
And you can see this time around, they're much happier. They're laughing at each other. Jake jumps out of his chair. They're patting Darkseid on the back. Certainly his standout performance so far in the OPL.
100%. He's had that one game very early on the split on the Kai'Sa where he got 4 kills early and did something like 11-1, 11-0.
Yep.
But bar that one performance, has really struggled to make a splash here. This game, a lot of resources invested in the bottom lane. Jake on the Morgana, on the Rakan for the double crit 80 carries, and AV, they find the window.
And now Legacy, halfway through the season, are in sole possession of bottom place.
That's 4 points. 5 weeks, 4 points total.
That is
rough.
not what you expected coming into this season. The team that took down Order last split, finished 3rd, gave the Chiefs a run. But this season, something just seems to be off.
Yeah, 3rd to 8th is that's a big tumble down the ladder. And that is super rough.
But Avant, I mean, you just have to sing praises. 2 different strategies brought out. Traditional AD carriers played, you know, the ability to group up team fights, take the game really by the scruff of its neck. That was an impressive performance.
Yeah, and the fact that they turned it around. Like, Legacy obviously made a mistake, but Charlie said they were much more confident in their funnel strategy. They'd gone back. They'd had weeks. They were the first team to bring this sort of strategy out. Of course, it has become a lot more general, and a lot more people have played it since then, but they've spent the time, they've spent the weeks over Rift Rivals scouting out their opponents, and they just play cool, calm, collected, and they do punish the mistake of Legacy.
But their iteration is different, because what they do is they play funnel with hyper-scaling bottom lane. Normally you play funnel with like mage, or funnel with like double melee, just
Utility
shoving
or, like,
lane.
bully. So,
yeah. So they run like a hyper-scale. It's similar to Order running it with like Vladimir, I guess, but really this was a different look at it. Double 80 carry.
Because normally, like, your side lanes can get picked off when you run at funnel, right? Like, they can be attacked, and if they fall behind, it's very rough as the 2 people in the mid lane. So normally you pick, like, a mage that has CC and can bully the lane, things like that, a strong top side. But as you mentioned, they just went double crit 80 carry. They farmed up, they got the picks, and the game was over.
They destroyed them in the end. To hear more about that series, let's throw it over to Nick, who's alongside victorious captain Jake.
Victorious indeed, Jake. Congratulations on the win. I mean, after a long and sort of drawn out first series, you guys came in decisive with that one. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. We played like exactly how our drafts wanted to go, like pretty slow and steady in game 2 with a funnel. We always knew that we had the scaling in our pockets and the team fighting, and in game 1, I think we just got pretty lucky with some of the dragons. Like, there was like 3 fire dragons, so... And then I think when they got the 4 dragons, they got like airs and oceans. So we paid off right today.
Tommy, you were going off upstairs.
I think. Wait, so you guys have been having a few rough weeks, yeah? So.
Check the leaderboard.
What have you guys been doing, like, to improve?
Well, following the Bombers' loss, I think that was the one that hit the hardest. We think we're just like we coming into that, we thought we're on like another level to them. You know, the Order and the Order loss was like, you know, they're a good team. We respect them a lot. But coming off the loss to the Bombers, we had a pretty serious chat about the direction and, you know, how serious we're taking it, what's working, what's not working. And I think having that loss and then having the 2-week break where you guys were at Rift Rivals, that really allowed us to like refine our practice and, you know, like rediscover and like plan out our style that we wanted to play going forward in the split.
And also, Darkseid, A veteran player. What does he offer to the team?
It clicks really fast.
Is he APMer?
Yeah,
Oh.
no, he's. I mean, I've said in like the week 1 interview, he's just a really good player, like pretty, like, good mechanical player. That's just, I think that's all. Like AV is really real. Like,
Wait, is his best champ Caitlyn? I haven't seen
I
much Caitlyn.
I'm not
So.
sure. I don't even know. Like with this meta, but no. I think like even historically, like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, AV's always like lacked a really high skill AD carry. So, yeah.
Are you worried that with this win, you're going to climb yourself back up to to number 5, and that the curse is back? Like, is that a big concern?
I think
Yeah.
it's like 6, maybe 6
Yeah,
at the moment.
right.
We are.
Yeah. But I mean,
So-
you're getting dangerously close. Is all I'm
We'll
saying.
try and hover it till maybe the last week. Like we'll analyze the leaderboards going into each game, and then so like if we 2-0 and we get 5th, we'll maybe say we'll just 2-1 and
Yeah,
then get like
right.
6th place.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely play around that.
Okay, fantastic. I think it's good for you to have that in mind. And finally, the question that everybody wants to know: what dog would you consider the most goth dog?
Goth,
Yep.
probably one of those like really shaggy poodles, like a black, like really black shaggy poodle.
Bryce
Is that what
throwing
he
us-
said?
Yeah, but
Well,
basically Bryce.
Yeah, like you'd see him in the background there, like on a nice farm. He's just like a real big farm dog.
that doesn't vibe with me with the idea of like a goth. But sure, that's fine. Like I don't see a goth
maybe.
standing on the hills of New Zealand.
Maybe he just
proudly.
hates society so much, and he's like,
And that's his total
farm
rejection.
life is
yeah.
for me.
No, I like it. Well, congratulations on the win,
Thank
but
you.
not too many congratulations because obviously you don't want to land up where you were last split. And Tommy, thank you very much for joining me on the couch for the evening. It's been a delight. I am definitely going to get you back for Ryoma's fashion segment. even
He's
after
best
half-
dressed on the couch so far. in my
Well,
opinion.
thank you very much.
Who said otherwise?
Oh, well, technically I'm not on the couch, so I
Oh.
think I agree. Yeah.
No, he is a step above.
He's so smart, isn't it? Like from the belt, the shirt.
looks really good.
By the way, what is on the necklace? Because a lot of people
Oh,
have been asking.
my uncle gave it to me like a couple of years ago. So
Who dressed you today?
just always wear it.
Who
Me.
set up the outfit?
Me.
You.
Yeah.
You?
Better.
Wow.
Actually,
that. All
Jisoo played a part of
Yeah.
it. So
Okay. There you go.
thanks to
Girlfriends. They're amazing. Aren't they?
Well, it's been a lovely evening. Thank you very much for hanging out, guys. Congratulations again on the win.
you.
Back to you guys at the desk.
And I do want to call Jake out for something because he played very well today.
Yep.
But Jake, my friend, when you enter into a relationship, you are supposed to let yourself go. You're not supposed to continue to go to the gym and look good. You are doing all the guys in a relationship a big disservice by continuing to look good in this situation.
Well, I've decided that I'm the pretty one and she's the breadwinner, so I got to keep up
Right.
appearances.
Okay. Yeah. You got to stick to your
Maybe
lane.
a saving
Yeah.
grace. Bryce is back at the gym. I need to get there this week as well. But however, guys, we do have some standings, I believe, to close out the night. It is going to be Direwolves keeping sole possession of top place on 13 points. Order will be second, thanks to Tectonic taking down the Chiefs. And then it's going to be Mammoth behind the Chiefs in 4th place. Tectonic round out the top 5. Avant, Bombers, and Legacy now bottom of the table, Bryce.
And it's interesting that the biggest gap is the top seed, right? Like, Direwolves have a 4-point lead over everyone else, and there's just 1 point as you trek down the ladder. So definitely coming into the split, BioPanther shaking things up, and they've still got that top position down on lock.
Still looking very good. Of course, we have more OPL action for you next week as we bring it up on your screen. Tectonic versus Legacy as they try and continue their reign of knocking out gauntlet teams. Avant Gaming then take on Mammoth on the 8 p.m. game. Of course, Saturday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. It's going to be Bombers versus the Direwolves before the grudge match. Order versus the Chiefs. Swiffer versus his own team. Spooks versus his own team. What game there? Is it Legacy Tectonic? Like, there are so many interesting games.
I think AV Mammoth, in
Okay.
all honesty, like coming out. Like AV, we're sitting like today, they were 8th place. I mean, they showed a very good performance. Like Mammoth still sitting like middle of the pack. I feel like other than Order versus the Chiefs, like top of the table clash, I feel like that's super interesting, but I'm looking forward to AV Mammoth.
It certainly should be an absolute banger of a week. However, guys, that is all the League of Legends action we have for you today. On behalf of myself, Bryce, Nick, Ryoma, and our entire production crew, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll catch you next Friday. Go for the one shot, but will be shut down, and now Mimic is there as well. Culling fully to the face, channeled only into the back line. Once again, flashes onto the 80 carries, but they can't get it done. Finally, he will fall, but now it is going to be the on into the back lane. 2-man knockoff, and once again, AV has turned this game on its head. That is beautiful out of Praelis. We'll get rid of Jake, but the damage is already done, and Mimic goes solo. Great headbutt Pulverizer. Now Darkseid is in some trouble, but the second AD carry is here. They forgot about Frey, and all of a sudden he's tearing up the team fight. Jake goes forward, gets Claire. He will go down, and Avant Gaming win that team fight. And a 5-man knockup from Pabu. Already Claire's out of the fight, and it is an absolute wash. Avant Gaming right now, a cleaning house. And you can see the damage coming out. Dark Biting lands. They get the Zhonya's already. Ultimate will have to come out immediately, but he just dies beforehand. On the back line, he's decoy, but the root lands again onto the Poppy. Culling will be channeled into him. And Avant Gaming right now are looking down the barrel of the 2-0. And after a horrendous loss to the Bombers, Avant bounce back and take down Legacy.